Spider-Man is in Algeria and his spider sense goes off. He waits until the last moment and then he dodges a knife thrown at him. He's suddenly surrounded by half a dozen men, all eager to take him out, but they've underestimated the amazing Spider-Man. He leaps over watermelon carts, whips guns into faces, and springboards into clueless henchmen. Now knowing they're outmatched, the men flee. Spider-Man chases after them across the rooftops, but a bullet fires close to his head, and he twists to dodge it and falls down off the building and into the water. He doesn't resurface, and the men go to report his defeat to their master. We're reading Every Spider-Man Ever, and this is Amazing Spider-Man Annual Issue 5, The Parents of Peter Parker. Spider-Man is alive, just about, and as he recovers on the riverside, he remembers how he got in this situation in the first place. A few days ago, he was helping his Aunt May move some things into the basement when he slipped and his spider strength opened one of the chests. While tidying the mess, he found a press clipping about his parents, about their death, that revealed a terrible truth. They were traitors to their country. Peter confronts Aunt May about it, and she confirms the story in a flashback within the flashback. She remembers how they looked after Peter when he was a baby, while his parents travelled for work, and a month later, Peter had aged 5 years, and they learned that his parents were traitors. They tried to find out more from a man in Algeria that recognised the bodies, but he never responded. And Peter is crestfallen and can't focus during the coming days on his life as Peter Parker or his life as Spider-Man. He needs answers. And so, as Spider-Man, he recruits the help of Mr. Fantastic, who uses a prototype vehicle to whisk them across the Atlantic and drop Spidey in Algeria. Spider-Man eventually finds the man that May and Ben wrote to, the man that knew his parents. Using force, he convinces the man to give him an address for the person that his parents worked for. But his conversation is overheard, and as he heads back out into the streets of Algeria, his spider sense gives a warning. And then, like we saw at the beginning, he fights some folks, and almost drowns, and now we're all caught up. Back on his feet, Spidey breaks into the address that he was given and finds a beautifully furnished study. Going through filing cabinets, he finds a folder about Richard Parker, his father, and inside his worst fear is confirmed. A membership card with a skull on it reveals that his father was, in fact, a traitor to the US. And Spider-Man soon learns who his father was working for when he turns around to find the Red Skull. Not only were his parents traitors, but they were working with a Nazi. The Red Skull doesn't have time for Spidey, who is much smaller than Captain America, who he's used to fighting, and so he summons a man named Sandor to defeat the web-slinger. Spider-Man is cocky. After all, Sandor is only human, but he finds himself thrown across the room and into a wall. Changing tactics, our hero webs the Brute up, enough to delay him so that he can get a kick in and a punch in and knocks Sandor down. Spidey then limps away, sad about his parents and haunted by the membership card that he found. But his battle with the Red Skull isn't over. The Skull finds a scrap of Spidey's costume and commissions a man called the Finisher to finish Spider-Man for good. The Finisher feeds the scrap of material into a special car, which tracks Spider-Man across Algeria and launches a missile at our hero. Spidey is able to sense the danger and uses his webbing to spin the missile out of the air and slams it down into the water. But the Finisher launches a second missile, a more advanced one that cannot be dispatched as easily as the last. So Spider-Man dives towards and under the car it came from, and the missile takes out the man that fired it. Spider-Man pulls the Finisher from the wreckage and demands to know more about his father and his relationship with the Red Skull. As the Finisher is dying, he explains that Richard Parker was a traitor, but a traitor to the Red Skull, a double agent working for America. When the Red Skull had discovered their betrayal, he called on the Finisher to kill them, which he did by sabotaging a plane the parents were flying in. Then, the Skull planted false evidence so that the world would think that the Parkers were traitors to their country, their legacy besmirched. But the Finisher dies before Spidey can get any real evidence. But now he knows the truth. His parents were heroes, and now Spider-Man is going to prove it. He races back to the Red Skull, dodging the bullets that the Skull's chair fires at him, and confronts the villain about his parents. The Red Skull confirms what the Finisher said, but that's still not proof that Spidey can use. But before he has a chance to delve deeper, the Red Skull reveals a deadly laser on his chest, bragging that he'll kill Spider-Man just like he killed that liberty-loving Richard Parker. And that was a mistake. Mentioning Spider-Man's father, and our hero tackles the Skull in a rage just as the villain fires. The beam hits a power source instead, blowing the room up and allowing the Red Skull to escape in the fire. Spider-Man is able to swing clear of the building, and then he discovers something curious. The fire had burned some of the membership card, and hidden inside were his father's credentials, proof that he was working with the US government. With this proof of his parents' innocence secured, Spider-Man is happy once more, and we have no idea how he got home. Thanks for watching and joining me on this journey to read every Spider-Man ever. If you'd like to support me and get episodes early or exclusive episodes, you can join this channel or support the Patreon in the description below. Tomorrow, we witness the crafting of a new Spidey tale, but while we wait for that story, here's a fun fact about this one. Some of the story we just heard gets retconned in later years. Most notably, we learn that this wasn't the real Red Skull, but an imposter. This is also the last Amazing Spider-Man annual with an original story for 8 years, so the next annual we'll be looking at will be issue 10.